friends, welcome to my channel. For those of you that are new here, my name is Caitlin and I like to film eyeshadow palette, ranking, and review videos, as well as the occasional other beauty content sprinkled in. So if any of those things sound interesting to you, I highly recommend that you hit that subscribe button because I post 2 videos every single week. And for those of you that are not new here, my face is happy that you are seeing it again. And I have a new microphone, so let me know in the comments if anything sounds weird or different. I'm trying to figure it out. I originally had like one of those little clip-on shirt microphones, and then I bought a standing microphone, and then I broke the plug-in on that, so I went back to the shirt microphone, but my dogs chewed the like thing that goes on it to like soften the sound. So anyways, long story short, I have another standing microphone, so we'll see how that sounds. Let me know. But I'm very excited because today I'm going to be reviewing the Nomad Cosmetics Hudson Valley palette. So if you haven't seen this palette before, this is the new palette coming from Nomad Cosmetics. It is based on Hudson Valley, New York. Nomad always does, what am I trying to say? Destination themed eyeshadow palettes. But anyways, I'm going to talk a bit more about how I'm approaching this review differently than I've done other reviews on my channel. So if you're curious about that or want to see the looks I create using this palette, then let's go ahead and get on into it. Now, for those of you that are new here, I want to give a couple of caveats, a couple of disclaimers. So I recognize that this is only going to be my first couple of times playing with this palette, so I'm not going to have fully fleshed out thoughts, which is why on my channel I like to do monthly eyeshadow palette rankings, not just of the new palettes I've tried, but of every palette I used in the month. So I compare the newer palettes to older palettes that I reached for, and then as I continue to use newer palettes, if you subscribe and watch those videos, you'll see, do I continue to reach for those palettes over time, or do I just kind of use them for the video and then don't really reach for them again, which I think speaks a lot to my overall opinions on the palettes. So that's one thing. And then what I want to do differently is normally I just do a first impression, so I just do like a creative look that I want to do with the palette, and then that's it, which, like I said, I do have my other videos where you can kind of hear my ongoing thoughts, but I want to be a little bit more thorough in my reviews going forward. For the most part, I do have quite a few palettes coming to me, so I may have to switch back to first impressions now and again, but I want to be a bit more thorough, meaning I want to do, like, yes, the creative look that I see when I first look at the palette, but also do like an easy look, like a quick, like I have like 5 minutes to get out the door. Does this palette work for me in that way, or can I use this palette in that way? And then also a smoky eye, because I feel like a smoky eye is like the tried and true test of like if deeper mattes in palettes are good or not, you know what I mean? Because smoky eyes can get patchy real quick, real fast, you know what I'm saying? So anyways, so that's kind of what I'm thinking for the 3 looks. That's sort of the game plan. Today I'm gonna go in with the look that first comes to my mind, and then I'll film kind of the other 2 looks. I think those will lend themselves to be more wearable. I hate that term, because you can, if it's on your face you can wear it, but I meant more like subtle, subdued work, like I would feel comfortable wearing them to work personally. So anyways, that's what we're gonna do. But Nomad always sends really cute things with their products, so I want to talk about that first. So first, they sent this postcard. They always include a postcard. This postcard says, "Take a trip with us along the Hudson Valley Foliage Trail. Explore full season of autumn colors while enjoying fun and quintessential fall activities." So this says that Hudson Valley is nestled between Manhattan and Albany, New York. 150 miles along Hudson Valley is breathtaking, the 150 miles along Hudson Valley is breathtaking in autumn. And it is where Felicia, one of the owners of Nomad Cosmetics, grew up, so it's a special destination for them. The palette has 12 mattes, 3 shimmers, and Nomad always has a cause that they support, meaning they donate some of the proceeds to whatever cause for each launch, or launch, purchase of the palette, etc. But for this palette, they are supporting Scenic Hudson, which protects the Hudson River and surrounding lands. So thought that was cool. The thing that they included is Nomad's Guide to Hudson Valley Foliage Trail, and so there's like this sticker on here where you lift it and it smells like maple syrup, and it just smells, oh, so good. It smells, I shouldn't say maple syrup, like maple, cinnamon, it just smells like fall. It's like if there was a candle in this scent, it would be perfect. But anyways, they have just kind of a list of things to go to in Hudson Valley. And then I feel like a lot of these things relate to the shade names, so I kept it off to the side, so as I'm using different shades, we can talk about that. But this is what the palette actually looks like. It's like a really cool, like, matte finish, and then the leaves and the wording are a, like, metallic chrome. It's a little bit hard to read on the back for my old eyes, mature eyes. There is a 12-month open container. It is cruelty-free and vegan. Yes, these are manufactured in China, distributed by Nomad Cosmetics in Dallas, Texas, and they designed it on scene in Hudson and Valley, New York. This was the box it came in. It does show the shades on the back, although they're more like an iridescent sticker, so it's kind of hard to see. This says, I think the ingredients are on like the side here. Ooh, there is mica in here for some of the shades, it looks like. That's really all I can tell. The ingredients on the side are like kind of hard for me to read because of how small the print is, and then also the color of the font, and then the letter. But Nomad doesn't typically have eye safety warnings. This is called an intense color palette, so they are not branding it in eyeshadow palette, so there probably is, since it's vegan, there's going to be some issues with some of the shades being eyeshadows, but I don't know that it clearly marks which shades are which. So really all you have to worry about with that is staining. For me, I never have that issue. What I usually do is I will swatch shades on my arm, wipe them off after a few hours. If they irritate my skin on my arm, I'm not going to put them on my eyes. That's how I do it, but to each their own. Okay, so this is what the palette looks like. It's a beautiful, like, half warm, half cool color story. So yeah, I am definitely into the cool tone side over the warm tone side. I'm not, like, I reach for warm tones quite a bit, but I prefer cool tones. So what I think we're going to do with this first look is I'm going to do like a warm toned crease with the yellow green shimmer. I think that'll be good. And then probably for my other two looks, I'll lean more towards the cool tones. But anyways, that's what we're gonna do. So let me go ahead and prime everything, and then we'll get started. So for those of you that have been here before, I found my Smashbox 24-hour eyeshadow base that I have almost emptied, and I'm just trying to finish up. This and the About Face Shadow Fix Primer perform very similar for me, so those are my two favorite eyeshadow primers to use. I always use an eyeshadow primer when I do my eyeshadow. How many times can I say the word eyeshadow in one sentence? The world will never know. So I think I'm gonna start... I changed my mind, and I think I'm gonna do a halo eye, because I haven't done a halo eye in a minute, and I just saw someone, on Pat McGrath's Instagram. She posted, I think it was another artist. I forget the artist's name. I'm so sorry. If I find it, I will, well, I'm not copying this look, but anyways, they did a halo eye. So I want to do a halo eye, but I will, if I find the artist's name, I will link that. I actually was planning on trying to recreate that look at some point soon. I was thinking I'd do a duping the vibes video of the new Pat McGrath palette, because I decided to skip it because I'm buying a lot of other eyeshadow palettes. So anyways, okay, so I think I want to go more of the like do I want to go more warm brown or like reddish? I think I'm going to go more warm brown. So I'm going to go in, this is a Blend Bunny Cosmetics B2 brush. I'm going to take the shade Oktoberfest, and Nomad Cosmetics always has the cutest pan embossings, but I feel like they, when I swatch them, they're so hard to see, and it makes me so sad. But yeah, anyways. And when I swatched these shades, I felt like these are the same, like, super soft, very creamy pigmented shades that Nomad normally has. That is promising. Nomad has one of my favorite matte eyeshadow formulas And then, I don't know, they might have one of my favorite shimmer formulas too. So their shimmers have like progressively gotten more and more stunning. So it depends on which shimmer we're talking about, but I really have always loved their mattes. It's a little messy, but that's all right. So next I want to go in with the shade Great Pumpkin Patch. So anyways, this was Oktoberfest. That's the brown we used. Great Pumpkin Patch is the like more mid-tone brown we're going to use next. I'm going to take this Morphe M433 brush. And I'm just going to lightly blend out the edges. And I'm not really making this that precise. The struggle is real. I'm not trying to make this that precise. For what reason? I don't have one. I'm just not doing it. Okay, so next up we're gonna go in, you know what? I think I'm gonna go in with Ghost Tour. I don't really want this to be so warm that it's yellow. I really just wanted this to be like a warm brown. So we're gonna pull in Ghost Tour. I know that's like a cream, like bone colored shade basically, but it is gonna help us blend this out. This is a Morphe M518. I'll probably lean more towards using the reds for like the smoky eye because I feel like those are going to be harder, deeper tones to formulate than like the browns. So I promise you I will use the reds at some point in this video. But my quick look is for sure going to come from those cool tones. I already have an idea. I actually have a lot of ideas with this palette, which is really funny. When I first saw them announce it, I was like, oh man, so many reds and oranges, and I don't really love red as a like eyeshadow color. So I was like debating skipping this one, and then I was like, no, I feel like I'm low-key collecting Nomad at this point, so I'm gonna get it and see. And then yeah, I bought it, and then when it got here I was like, wow, I do have a ton of ideas. We're a little all over the place, but it's all good. So I'm gonna go in with the shade Corn Maze and putting that on my finger. And I'm just tapping that over the center lid. And then we'll blend in the browns into it. I am taking it a little bit up into the crease, but very like lightly. I did a very similar Color Story eye look last night, so that's why I switched this up for a halo eye, because last night I did more of like the standard like glam cut crease type of thing. So I wanted to mix this up today. We're gonna go back in with the same brushes and shades we used before, and Oktoberfest is the darker brown, so I'm just going to replace that in the very outer portions. And then we're gonna take that same shade that we used with Great Pumpkin Patch. I'm gonna go right like in between where the green and the brown are. And the goal of a halo eye is to have your shimmer be like right above your, and I always do this on this side, I have the shimmer go too far over. So let's just a little bit more. There we go. Okay. So now what I'm gonna do is Great Pumpkin Patch on this side. Yeah, I mean, that's basically the gist of it. I feel like that was actually really easy. I just got the Artist palette from Glisten Cosmetics. It's in collaboration with Rowie Singh. Do we want to do, like, I think I might want to go in with this dark green liner. This green shimmer, because it's with the browns, it definitely looks more gold, like on the eye, which I just think is really interesting because it's for sure green in the pan. So it's got some shiftiness happening. So basically this is gonna be the eye look. I'm gonna do liner on the other eye, clean up my base, yada yada yada, all the fun things, and then I'll come back and show you the lower lash line, and then that'll be it. And we'll move on to look number 2. I tried fake freckles, but I feel like I hate them every time I try them. So anyways, I don't know. But I put the Haus Labs foundation and powder on. I wear the Haus Labs foundation in shade 040, and then the translucent powder. I have the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer on in Vanilla, and then I have the LYS bronzer in Harmony, and then the Tower 28 Beach Please Golden Hour Cream Blush, and then my Odin's Eye Solmon 2 Moon Talk highlighter, also H101 is the number on it, which is like the green tone highlighter. And then in my waterline, I have ColourPop. I want to say this is it's one of the cream gel liners from the Raw Beauty Christie collab. I think it's called Woodsy. Anyway, it's just a warm brown color. So now we're going to take Oktoberfest on the same Blend Bunny brush that we used earlier, and we're just going to run that. I'm going to run that along the whole thing. I'm not going to repeat the halo on the bottom. I don't know why, but I don't like that on my eyes as much. Now I'm going to take this Morphe M433 brush and the Great Pumpkin Patch, and we're just going to blend over that a little bit, smoke that out just slightly. And then I'm going to take that other Morphe brush, the M518, in the shade Ghost Tour, which is that light pale, like bone colored shade. We're just gonna blend all that out. And I'm gonna take that shade Corn Maze again, which is that green shimmer shade. Put that on the inner corner. Yeah, it's so funny. It looks so green and pan, and then it's like, I mean, it's definitely green. It leans green, but it's very much like a yellowy green on the eyes, which I just think is really interesting. That's basically the look. I'm gonna go do all the other stuff to get ready, and then I'll show you the final look. This is the finished first look. I didn't put lashes on because I don't know, I felt like with mascara my lashes didn't look terrible. I mean, this lash leaves a little to be desired, but this lash didn't look that bad. Anyways, and I don't have time to put lashes on. So this is the finished look. Let me know what you think in the comments. This look wasn't as creative as I was kind of thinking it was going to be, but I think it looks really pretty. I really like it. I might, and I don't know, we'll see how my other looks turn out. But anyways, let's move on to look number 2. Hi friends. I guess I don't need to say that every time. It is day 2. So I wasn't planning on wearing warm tones today. I think I even said yesterday that I was gonna do this like simple basic look using the cool tones in the palette, but I am wearing warm tones and I have like not a lot of time to get ready. So we are gonna do the simple basic look today. If you have been on my channel before when I've done a look or a first impressions with my Nomad palettes, I've done this a couple of times. I take like their matte, and I will give full credit to Betty Jean. Her channel is called Batty Bean. I saw her do this and then I've been doing it ever since. But you take like the darker matte shades and do like a shadow liner and then just top it with the shimmer shades. I feel like Nomad's formula is my favorite to do that with because their shimmer shades have like opacity to them, but they're also very sparkly, so they sheer out into the crease a little bit easier, I feel like, than some other shimmers. So that's what we're gonna do. I think I'm going to start with the shade Farm to Table, which is the really dark, cool toned matte. I am gonna do that, but then we're gonna go in with Wine Harvest, and then I'm gonna go in with Fall Festival. So that's gonna be the plan, and then I'm gonna top it with probably Foliage Trail, and then in the inner corner we'll go with Leaf Peeping, and then yeah, that'll be the gist. Okay, so I need a like liner brush that I like to use for a shadow liner. So I always like to use these angled brushes. So this is the angled liner brush from Real Techniques. It is the 056. And like I said, starting with Farm to Table. And like, if you were really, really in a rush, you could just do this. You know what I mean? Like, just do a shadow liner, any of these colors. It could be fun to even go in with the red as just like a red liner for like a pop of color. And then you could just be done and call it a day. The initial super easy look I was picturing was obviously with this row. Like, you could just put these two shades in your crease, or even just the shade in the crease, just this shade like smudged out in the outer corner a little bit, and then that all over the lid. And then that's like a really easy look without, like, you're not gonna have issues with blending because they're all browns. So that's what I was initially thinking. And yeah, but like I said, I'm wearing warm tones, so it's like I might as well go in with the warm tone side of this palette. I will play with the cool tones in the last look. I make no promises that it'll be like a crazy inspiring look or like a complex look, but it won't be as easy as the last two. I mean, I feel like I've only used a few shades. I don't know, whatever. I will do one more look. That's all I'm trying to say. Oh, I think I was planning on doing a smoky eye. Oh, that could be fun to do like a green tone smoky eye. Okay, okay, I see it, I see it. And I don't really care if this is messy because I'm going to smudge it out anyway, so this doesn't have to be perfect. I just want it relatively even. Like I said, I'm going to smoke it all out, and then we're going to cover it with the shimmer shades anyway. So it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, so next, like I said, we're going to go in with Wine Harvest. I'm going to take, this is a bottom half of a Naked brush. It's just like a domed brush. It's kind of like a bullet brush, but I want to be able to keep this shade controlled, but I also want it to be able to smoke out that other shade more, if that makes sense. Shockingly, this eye looks better, and that has literally never happened. So I'm a little confused, but that's okay. I guess I'll just use the other side of the same Naked brush. This is a fluffy blending brush. I don't normally like to go this big, but whatever. I already have this brush out, so I might as well try and do something with it. So just blending over where we put those other shades. And I like to pull this into the crease a little bit, like whatever's left on my brush after I've put down a majority of the pigment, just so there's sort of something happening in the crease, just for like definition purposes. Okay, the blending on this, it's not looking 100%. So I am going to go in with that BH brush BH Cosmetics brush I mentioned. Oh my god, mentioned earlier. It's a number 6. It's from like a hot pink collection they had. I'm going to take Cider House, that yellow, and I'm just going to lightly go along the edges of that orange, just to kind of blend out where things got a little crazy and out of hand. Now you could just have this be an all matte look if you want to be like more precise with this than I was. I think these colors all work together really well. I mean, I kind of want to do an all matte look with these colors if we're being totally honest. You should probably follow me on Instagram or TikTok because I'm sure I will post that kind of look on one or both of those platforms. Okay, I thought that yellow was going to be the answer to my problems, but it's not. I'm going to go back in with that orange shade, Fall Festival. I just got a little patchy over here, but that's because of how I placed it. It's not like a problem with the shadow. I can just tell that I was a little crazy, but it's okay. Or not crazy. I was a little careless. Let's say that instead. Okay, so Foliage Trail. And take this on my finger again. And it's so funny, like recently in a video, I was like, I don't like putting my fingers in shades. And then I've done that the last two looks. But anyways, we're just gonna tap Foliage Trail lightly all over the... Ooh, that is much more orange than I was picturing. It's all good. And you see what I mean? Like, you still have the depth of the liner behind the shimmer shade, but you also kind of have the shimmer shade sort of everywhere. So it's like a super messy look, but I think it looks pretty. And I don't think we always have to be precise. Like, sometimes I just want orange shimmer all over my eyelid. And that's what I want to do. Okay. So now that I've kind of placed that everywhere and made a mess, I'm going to go back in with that BH Cosmetics brush. I'm not going to add any shadow to it. I'm just kind of blending, or not kind of blending, I am blending. I think I am going to spray one of my brushes. This is a BH Cosmetics, I don't know what brush, it's from their Crystal Zodiac collection. It's just a flat brush. I'm going to spray this with Fix Plus, and I am going to go in with that. Oh, you know what? We're going to make this a little bit more interesting. I'm going to go in with the shade Leaf Peeping, which I was really curious what that name is, so I'm going to pull out that thing in a sec. I wanted to just add a little bit more of this yellow shimmer to the inner like third of my eye. That also helped with some of the issues I was having on the inner corner, and I feel like a fall leaf. Like I feel like that's what I look like. Okay, so here, let me talk about some of these shade names. So Leaf Peeping, one of the best parks in the state, full of hiking trails to explore, waterfalls and to discover, and of course fall foliage to go leaf peeping. So that's at Minnewaska State Park. So leaf peeping, I guess, is what it sounds like. You're just gonna go look at leaves. Okay, well, I was really curious what that shade was, but it was, I guess, self-explanatory. All right, so what I'm gonna do is clean this up, and then I'll come back and show the finished look. Here is the finished look. Sorry I didn't come back for the lower lash line. I just took the shade, whatever the orange shade is called, Fall Festival, and then I put Leaf Peeping in the inner corner. But anyways, this is the finished look. Let me know what you think in the comments. Super simple, super easy, super quick. As far as what's on my face, I have the LYS bronzer in the shade Harmony again. I also have my Tower 28 blush in Golden Hour again. I did switch up the highlighter, and I used Solar Sailor from Kaleydou's Makeup. On my lips, I have the House Labs Peach Matte lip crayon, and then the lip oil in secondary. And then I did put lashes on. They're the style Lash 01 from AF94. But yeah, this is what we are working with today. So let's go ahead on into look number 3. Okay, the final look number 3. I'm going to go in with the cool toned side. I was thinking of doing an all matte look, but I might pull in the green shimmer Corn Maze just to see if that pulls more green next to the other greens. But basically what we're going to start off with is Apple Cider Donut, which is the like light taupey shade. I'm going to put that in my crease. And I do have a meeting earlier today than I normally do, so this is also going to be a quick look. So basically, I told you all I'd give you like a really creative look and a smoky eye, and I did not do either of those things. I didn't do it. I mean, I could do a smoky eye with this, with the greens. Yeah, smoky eyes sometimes require time, and that is just not something I have. At least for me, I like to go back and forth and blend them and really make sure they look good. So I'm just taking a fluffy blending brush and blending that shade into my crease. I'm taking the shade Ghost Tour to try and help blend. There's like one part on this side that's like stuck, and it will not blend or anything. Well, now this has gotten out of control, so I have to kind of mess up with what was a perfect blend over here so that they match. I mean, this side still looks way better than this side. I don't know. We're gonna keep it going and hope for the best. Okay, and now I think I'm gonna pull in the shade Mountain Hike, which is this green in the middle here. I'm taking a skinnier fluffy brush. This is a Morphe N330. And I'm going to take that same shade we were using with Apple Cider Donut, and I'm just going to lightly blend over the edges. Okay, then we're going to go in with Bed and Breakfast, which is the deepest green shade. I'm going to take a Morphe M321 brush, which is this like little, it's kind of a bold brush, but slightly fluffier. Okay, so now I'm gonna need to cut my crease because I'm gonna go in with the matte shadow. So I'm gonna take my NARS creamy concealer and just put that on my lids and then look up and also try and find my, oh, found it. I don't think I've ever found a brush so fast in my life. This is my Sigma cut crease brush. It's the E62, and I'm not doing a full cut crease, just a half. Not even really a full half, just like an inner third. Okay, I'm gonna go into with this Real Techniques collab brush with Victoria Lynn, and it's 043, and it's kind of like a flat but slightly fluffy brush, and we're gonna go in with Ghost Tour, and I'm packing that over where we just put that concealer. I'm gonna blend another shade into this, but I just want to get this as much as possible. Okay, so now I'm gonna take this same brush, but I'm gonna flip it to, I'm just gonna go in with the same brush, and I'm gonna take the shade Farmer's Market, which is the lightest, like tealy green, or like a sage green shade. I'm gonna kind of use that to blend the darker green with that creamier color. I kind of want to leave it at this. Okay, let's take Corn Maze just a little bit on my finger, and I was gonna add like the smallest hint of sparkle where we put that shade Farmer's Market. Yeah, it's like the subtlest, teensiest amount of sparkly shadow possible. And it does definitely layer over this and look more green than it did. I mean, it's going over like a more blue toned green, so I guess that would make sense. Okay, that's basically going to be the look. I think, I'm trying to decide if I want to do liner. I'm probably going to do like a brown eyeliner situation, but then I'll come back and show you all what will likely be the finished look. I'm just going to repeat what I did up here on the lower lash line. So I'll be back and give you my finished look and my overall thoughts on the palette. Okay, here is the finished look number 3. What do you think? Do we love it? Which one is our favorite? Look 1, 2, or 3? For me, I think this one's my favorite, but I also really liked look number 1. I liked using the warm toned browns with the green, and it kind of shifted into that yellowy color, but I didn't hate look number 2. I just don't love orange eyeshadow. Orange or red eyeshadow on myself is like just not my favorite. So anyways, that being said, let's get into my thoughts on this palette. I do really like this palette. What I just said is why I was laughing, because I don't love orange and red on me. And so I haven't used the shade Apple Picking. Let me see, what shades have I not used? I think I've used every shade but Apple Picking, the red shade. I think I worked. Or maybe, did I use Grape? I used Grape Pumpkin Patch in the first shade, and then yesterday I used Cider House and Fall Festival. Yeah, Apple Picking's literally the only shade I didn't use because red's not my favorite eyeshadow color. But I do enjoy this palette. I think the mattes blend really nicely. I thought the shimmers looked amazing. I kind of like, even right now, I use that one shade as just like a hint of shimmer. And I really like the ability to do that. I like being able to pick a shimmer up and either pack it on and get a lot of that like metallic wet looking goodness like we did with that shade in the first look, and even in yesterday's look we got a bunch of that metallic beautifulness, sparkle. And then I like being able to like really lightly apply the shimmer without, and just get like a sheen without it being like a full shimmer shade, because I do sometimes like a full matte shade. I didn't tell you what's on my face for this look. I did the Haus Labs foundation, powder, bronzer, and my blush is the middle shade, so it's the shade Nymphette that I use from the Pat McGrath Bridgerton blush trio. And then my highlight is the Odin's Eye Solmon Moonlight Highlighter in Moon Talk H101, and that is what I put on the inner corners just to add some shimmer to the look. But anyways, on my lips I have the Milk Makeup lipstick in CREAM, and then the Dominique Cosmetics Creamer lip gloss. I just put that in the center to get like a little bit lighter. And then the lashes are the Auric Clouded like half lashes. So anyways, that's what I have on my face if you were curious about this look. But anyways, back to this palette. I think this palette's really nice. Same great quality that Nomad has had consistently for the last several launches. If you like this color story, I don't think you'll have any issues with this palette. I do like that it's more matte heavy. Like I said, I sometimes like to go more for an all matte look with maybe just a hint of shimmer. I also have like my Blend Bunny Noctilucent palette, or even these Odin's Eye like highlighters that like if I use an all matte look, sometimes I just want to bring in those shades like I did on the inner corner. So anyways, long story short, I really like this palette. I think it's a good one. Let me know in the comments if you have picked it up, if you plan to pick it up, or if you're skipping this and just because you don't like the color story, or if you're planning on shopping your stash for something similar. I love to hear all of your thoughts in the comment section. But with that, I will see you all next time. Bye!